First thing I'm gonna do, if I'm making a cream soup, I'm choosing a rondo, but I'm also choosing a pot. See how thick the wall of metal is?
Yes.
The more metal you put between the fire and the product, the better off you're gonna be. Because when it gets thick, it's less likely gonna do what?
Fall apart.
Begins with a B.
Break.
Burn. Or break. It'll break too. Okay, so in this case, I do not want to choose olive oil because I don't want an olive oil flavor in my cream soup. So anytime I make a soup and I don't want the oil flavor to come through, I'm going to use blended oil. So you're going to start. Oil on the bottom. That's right. Here, turn so the camera can touch you.
Is that enough?
Keep going. I'll tell you what. You want to sweat your vegetables. Okay, good. Now, asparagus, this has already been cut, but I'm going to explain something about asparagus. When you get a piece of asparagus in, you're going to notice an end and a tip. The tips are going to look like that. Almost floury, okay, longer obviously. Asparagus will be that long. You only cut about 2 inches off the end because the end is fibrous and you can't chew it. Now, if you don't know where to cut it, take a piece, both ends, the tip and the end in your hand. You know you break a wishbone? Go to break it. It's naturally gonna break 2 inches off the end, okay? And that's where you know. I guarantee it's gonna be about that much. Cut that off, save the tips. You want the tips, all right? Now, cooking time. This is going to be, for this amount of soup, I'm going to roughly use 2 onions in it. So I'm going to guesstimate 2 onions worth. You hear the sizzle? Pan's preheated, and that's what you want. Okay? And probably 2.5 onions. All right. May I see a little bit more of this? And then what I'm going to do next is dump in all my asparagus. What you're going to do, stir. Here, use the towel, hold the handle so it's not going to go anywhere. Now, what we need in the soup is, if you could, Brianna, give me the salt and pepper. And nutmeg. I'll take both, thank you. What do you guys, go find me a tablespoon. How are we doing?
Say hi, Chef.
Hi, Chef. How do I do, all right? Do me a favor, Anthony, go get me a cover big enough to cover this pot. Okay, slide over, let me see. And watch what I'm doing. If I see it's a little dry, I'm going to add a little more oil. Remember what I said, always add, never take away. If I had too much oil in there, it's going to be harder. It's a teaspoon, it's okay. Now, here's what I want you guys to practice. Take a teaspoon, level it, cup your hand, put it in your hand. That's a teaspoon? It's a lot, okay? Throw it back in. Then I want you to do this. See what you got there. So you know, when you do this, you already know that you've got a teaspoon in your hands, okay? And you don't have to go for this every single time. Gotta cover that. Now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna let steam do some of the work, okay? So, come on, good eyes. We're gonna let steam do some of the work here, okay? Steam's the hottest heat in the kitchen, so we want the steam to steam these vegetables. But whenever you're doing something like this, You alright? Whenever you're doing something like this, when you lift the cover off, lift it off away from you so the steam doesn't bite you. Alright? So now, we're going to let the steam sweat some of these vegetables, coating over our flame. While that's going on, look, just look while you're doing it. Vertical is off. I'm going to make a little roux for this. Do you guys know how to make a roux?
Yeah, flour and butter.
What's the ratio? It's usually 50-50. So it could be flour, butter, any type of fat. Bacon fat, duck fat, doesn't matter what it is, but it's got to be 50-50. Now when you measure it, sometimes you use less flour, sometimes you use more. We have you measure it in school. In a restaurant, we measure it with watch. So I'm going to show you how to do it that way. First thing you're going to do is melt the butter. You don't want to burn the butter. We're making a blonde roux. A blonde roux means that it's just going to be light. If I want to make a darker roux, then I would I'd burn this a little bit. Okay? But I don't want that. So I'm using roughly about a half pound of butter here. Okay, while that's going on, we're going to let that do its thing. Now, does everybody here like crab meat? Yes, no, maybe? Huh? You do? Okay. Randy, I got one. Go get me 1 can of crab meat in the walk-in. Open it up and bring it to me, please.
It's really good.
Okay, so now my butter's melted.
Hold on. What exactly are you making?
Huh?
What exactly are you making for the whole thing?
It's going to be cream of asparagus with crab meat. So now I'm going to add my flour to this. Turn my fire down. You almost want this to resemble, I'd say, black. There's 2 cans in the walk-in. Second shelf down, they say crab meat on them. Open one. Smaller cans, Randy. They're like 1 pound. They're like 1 pound cans. The reason you make a roux, you do it like this, is to cook the starch out of the flour.
What's the starch?
Huh?
What's the starch?
You ever taste anything with flour in it and it tastes a little floury to you? Sometimes. Okay. You want to just cook it out so it does not taste starchy. That's the only way I can explain it. Now, this is how I teach kids how to flip. Make a roux. Make it right, you can flip it all day long. That'll do. Okay, now I'm going to let this bubble up a little bit. Are you expecting another snowstorm? A little messy. No, I'm just making fun of the amount of flour I got on the stove.
So, okay, I'm just gonna say this. We have a student in our class. He'll do like these little puns and everything, and this one student will not laugh. He doesn't think that it's funny. All the rest of the class laughs at him.
Now, see what we got here?
Yeah.
Onions are cooking, asparagus is cooking. How does it smell? Pretty good?
I know.
Okay. If I let this roux brown a little bit, it's going to be a dark roux, and I don't want that. Take that off. Now, I've got a can of crab meat, but I want to put a little flavor in this. So I take a little bit of butter. While that's cooking, I'm going to melt the butter in this pan. Okay? So far, so good. Salt. I'm going to start with about 2 tablespoons. Pepper, about 1 tablespoon. Okay, when I melt my butter here, the idea is I don't want to add the crab meat. I want to saute it a little first. So I'm going to melt this butter and saute it. And Old Bay seasoning, I just had it back here earlier today. That ain't it. Before crab meat, I was going to put nutmeg. Now I've got what I want. I'm going to use the Old Bay. Old Bay seasoning goes well with seafood. So now right here, I'm going to add my crab. And I'm going to saute it in this butter. I'm going to add a little bit of Old Bay to it. How much you think I got?
Probably around 2 tablespoons.
Let's look.
No, probably around 3.
Teaspoon. How many teaspoons are in a tablespoon?
3.
3. 1, 2. To get the rest off my hand. Roughly about a tablespoon. That's what a tablespoon looks like in your hand. Okay? So I'm going to saute this on the side. Just like that. This, we have our onions and our asparagus going. This is a big container. Normally I would do it this way, but stock. You guys learned about stock yet? Okay. You're going to learn about it before the week's over. This is a chicken stock. Who's chewing gum that smells like spearmint? Somebody? It smells spearmint gum. I guess it's not.
Taylor.
Okay.
It's
Could be me.
Taylor.
Could be me.
It's Taylor.
So the amount of stock I want to put in this, for this amount of vegetable, is roughly about 1.5 gallons. Here's the reason I cook this in the butter first. You like crab meat? Smell it. Okay? There's a big difference between sauteing this a little bit and just throwing it in there. I'm just going to add a little more butter. And this is the type of thing butter's good. Heavy cream. About 1 quart. Bring this together. We're going to bring this to a boil. Turn it all the way up. would you say there's a difference between what I did and just opening that can and dumping it in?
Yeah.
Big difference. All right. Now, while we're waiting for that to boil, let's put all this other stuff away. Then we're going to finish on this. We're going to taste it. We're going to put it away, and all you guys are going to try it tomorrow. What I mean, all you guys can have some. Okay? So we're going to wait for that to boil quickly. Put this away while we're waiting.